Greetings. Shalom, shalama, peace. We are the ministry of the real truth, and we strive through our own personal research and experiences to bring you the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the biblical scriptures. Today's video we decided is a must-know step to the Aramaic, because we found that when someone on a social chat site or in your YouTube comments, etc., retorts, insults, ridicules, and makes wild assumptions about you, you have to turn it to your advantage. Rather than lose your cool, right, and get back at them and retort as they have retorted or insulted you, etc., because you're basically adding fuel to the fire. And a lot of these are trolls, etc. They get off on that, they feed off of that, so they keep going. But unfortunately they came across us, who keep going to try to reveal them again the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because honesty is our best policy. We believe in chivalry, that a man's word should be a man's word, and he should stay grounded on that fact, right, and keep his word as his word, and so forth. So when these people throw retorts, insults, ridicules, and make wild assumptions and lie through their teeth about you, as we suggested, you turn it to your advantage. Okay? Instead of shrinking back and letting it get to you, you turn it to your advantage. I.e., from this continual series of taunts, ridicule, assumptions, etc., through these social chat sites and YouTube comments, we come up with this idea that we will use all of that for our next spectacular video. It just dawned on us, there's another topic for one of our videos. Brilliant. We all decided, and agreed upon, that rather than be affected by it, we'll turn it around and make that into another spectacular video, post it up. Okay, we would create and upload and see what kind of reaction to it we might get. So in sum, this is taking that retort with its negatives and turning it into something positive, creative, and productive that you can profit from. Reducing the negatives in your head that they're trying to put in your head and life, so you are no longer affected by it. It won't, hopefully, be stored permanently as engrams. This to define it, that's like small pieces of information, because you have the left brain, the left reactive brain, the right reactive brain in your subconscious, so they're stored in the back of your subconscious almost forever, you could say, and you may be affected by them, through them, because of them. Say for example, you're walking down the street, enjoying your day, and you see some guy that reminds you of a bully from when you were in high school. He looks the same, you might hear him talk the same, smell the same, walks the same, acts the same, so you're convinced that's him. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to go through that crap again. Fear sets in, heartbeat, adrenaline, so you rush into a shop and you hide in there till he goes past. think, phew, glad I didn't come across that guy. He might have bullied me again, right? Even though I'm older. Okay. And then you find out through friends, they introduce you to this guy, and you think, oh, here we go. Oh, no, don't say they know this guy. And it turns out he's not the guy. He just happened to look like him, walk like him, talk like him. He's a completely different guy. So you were afraid of nothing, you know? You imagined this fear, right? And then you laugh it off. What was I afraid of? That's because you've got those engrams, those small charges, sitting in the back of your subconscious mind, right? So they're set off by a person you think, as we put in the example, a bully that used to beat you up at school, high school, right through high school, and so forth. Okay. So you want to try and reduce those so it doesn't affect you throughout your life. You reduce those small amounts of quote charge unquote. When someone on a social chat site or forum does this, turn it around, reverse it. Create something positive about it. Bam, there's an idea for you. Put it up on your YouTube. Here's another hint how. Look at those retorts where they post them up. Any comments or on YouTube comments under a video to what you have commented on. You know, it's got little ideas, opinions, views on your belief, right? What you believe. Okay, that's your right to have those beliefs. Right? You're allowed to express them. There's no law saying that you can't. Well, there's an order that probably tries to limit that and your freedoms and your rights, etc. Okay. So look at those retorts, lies they've spun about your personal research on subjects that really interest you, with their so-called established synchronizing facts. Yeah? You've provided them links to sources by the top experts with the highest credentials obtained. Right? This is to your advantage. But they still use all of these lies, false claims, information, disinformation, misinformation, etc. But these you can use to your best creative advantage. Turn all of that into a brand new video idea. In sum, you're turning bitching into profiting. Let us give you an example so you can fully grasp and understand exactly what we are trying to get across to you. Okay? And you'll fully understand it, what we're trying to get across to you. Example: while on a social chat website inside a religious room, many were expressing their faith beliefs and were quoting scriptures after scripture, copy and paste, quote by rote, some without explaining them in detail, you know, what they understood they actually meant, and others were, right, but not fully or correctly. You know, we ask them, or we see that they post, they cut and copy, or copy and paste, believing what the scriptures say. So we simply added a reply to most, if not all, because we could plainly see they were incorrect in their claims, Bible-wise. So, just a general conversation where we proceeded to explain it and ourselves, of which what we corrected. One in particular kept trying to refute us each and every time we gave an answer, because he didn't like being exposed. We fully understand why this guy was doing this, because these kind of people are of a certain church or denomination, church denomination. They read certain Americanized, modernized Bible versions, translated into English. These are copies of copies of copies of copies of copies of copies, as stated by top theologian Dr. Bart D. Ehrman. Right? they're not from original manuscripts. And he details in his live debates that we only have fragments of the Greek, about the size of a cell phone SIM card or mobile phone SIM card, and so forth. So yeah, they're getting it all from the Americanized, modernized Bible versions, with the King James claiming it's the only authorized version to be read in churches, when they haven't read the older King James version with the dedication to the then Prince James, who later became King James, and what he said, okay, what it pertained to his Church of England, where he re-established them, because what he did with the King James version, he didn't like the Puritan version. He didn't agree with it. So he ordered, or commissioned, a group of people to rewrite that, okay, from the original, supposedly the original Hebrew, etc., into English. And then once that was done, he said these new versions, right, are authorized to be read in the Church of England, which was all over England. He wasn't saying it's authorized and it's the only Bible version to be read in all churches of all the world. You really need to read that dedication letter by the people in praise of him, thanking him for freeing them from the Roman Catholic boot heel in that era, and so forth, because they could see a problem with it. So you really need to read that dedication letter. So that's why we fully understand why they are doing this. Again, they are of a certain church denomination, read certain Americanized modern Bible versions, NIV, ESV, RSV, and so forth, translated into English. And they are, or they are indoctrinated. I wouldn't say so much brainwashed, but you could use that in a sense, because they're indoctrinated. Okay, part of a programming or conditioning. If they're Christians, their family was in the church since day dot, and they're born into it, yeah, that can be a problem. But most other people as well that are introduced to it, converted to it, are indoctrinated, brainwashed, part of a programming, conditioning, and they really feel the need to express their faith. They make claims that they've read the entire Bible 52 times. Why are you reading it 52 times? Couldn't you understand it the second or third time? Because it's quite a complicated book to get your head around. So they're into this belief system, organised religion, or to another, say they're in Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, for argument's sake. Okay, so they're in one of those organised religions, so that anyone that contests their opinions, views, beliefs, their doctrines, their holy texts, etc., their indoctrinated doctrines or dogma, cops it, right? To the point where they might get their head lopped off. In these chats, conversations go well, we find, until one lying is exposed. So the truth is revealed to him, of what the scriptures actually say, from the original, ancient, very old, sacred scribal or old tongue, or the Lishana Atika or Lishana Supriya of the Kitab Asheri, the Kitab Ivri, the Kitab Hotep. It's a very, very old ancient Aramaic, Assyrian Aramaic, ancient Hebrew, and Kitab Hotep may be another of the ancient Hebrew, ancient very old Hebrew, that Moses may have been taught by his grandfather. Haven't found anything on that yet. We've got the suspicion Hotep is close to Hotep, so him coming out of Egypt, it may have been an Egyptian original, translated by them into their language, Hebrew, Aramaic, etc. Maybe. We haven't found that yet, Kitab Hotep, but we have read that Moses, while in Egypt, learnt it from either his father or his grandfather. Okay. So conversations go well until one is exposed, found to be wanting or lying. And as the scriptures say, the scriptures are for correcting, proofs, etc., etc. So that's what we're basically doing. And we hit a raw nerve and cause one huge ego level of thinking they know all the scriptures say and mean is shown to be lacking or false or incorrect, however we see it and we term it, right, to them. But we understand it's a neurocognitive brain thing from people who are doing cognitive therapy. They set a master's degree to get their PhD, and they know what they're talking about. Even those ones that get the PhD, they're experts, they become recognised. Okay, so we use them as a source. They provide links to those sources of the experts, not a wannabe basement computer nerd or troll hiding behind his mama's computer, making up that he knows everything. Okay, so it's a neurocognitive brain thing. How we're wired, or conditioned, or even programmed through our life, from infancy onwards, 0 to 7, according to the Jesuits, is that year when children are most gullible, and that's why they teach them so young in their order, because when they go into later life, they'll still be loyal, or whatever, quoting their doctrines, their dogmas.